So hello guys, welcome back with another video of Salesforce Geek channel. So in this video, we are going to discuss about a new feature that we called data table beta feature, right? So this feature we got in Winter 23 release. That means the latest release that we got. So we are going to discuss each and everything about this beta feature, and we are also going to see a demo how we can use data table in our Salesforce scenarios, right? And how you can develop various other scenarios as well. So this video is going to be in two parts. In first part, I am going to discuss one scenario, and the second scenario I am going to discuss in second part. So for now, let's get started. As you know that we got a lot of features, right, in this release, and this release is super packed with the different features. One of the feature is now you can create Salesforce flow from just clicking a button. You don't need to navigate into quick find and type flows over there. What you need to do, like, you need to be on the home page, right? And on the home page, click on the create button, and here you will see the flow button as well. Click on this flow button and this will navigate you to the page as you see earlier, where you can see all the different type of flows you want to create. So in this scenario, let me tell you, data table is a part of a screen flow. So data table is a screen component that we are going to use in today's demo. Let's create a screen flow. So click on screen flow and click create. Now what we need, first of all, let me just drag and drop a screen over there, because I want to let you know there is a reason drag and drop a screen over the canvas. So first of all, I am going to drag and drop a screens, and in the left hand side you will see data table beta. So let's drag and drop this to the screen, and on the right hand side you can see the different properties of this data table feature, right? Here you will see source collection. Now what is source collection? If I hover over this I button, it says enter a record collection to populate the table. That means if you want to display the table over the screen, you need to provide record collection. Now what is record collection? A list which contain multiple records, right? So as you know that get record element is also a list. That means it is also a record collection variable. So in this scenario, what we are going to do is we are going to use a get record element. Now let me just share you the scenario. So in this video, what we are going to achieve is we are going to create a screen flow which display all the related contacts over there, and we are going to place this flow over account record detail page. From account record detail page, it will fetch all the related contacts that we have on the account. After that, we are going to select a particular contact on the flow, and if we click next, it will update the custom field on contact that is called primary. So I created a custom field on contact object that we have is primary. It's a checkbox and it is unchecked by default, right? This is the very simple scenario that we are going to achieve in today's video. So now let's see how we can do that. So simply, first of all, we need to cross it down, because first we need to fetch the related contacts. That means we need to fetch with the help of get record element. So click on this plus button and now type get record. Provide a label to it. Let's say related contacts, and in the object you need to type contact. Now, as you know that we are going to place this screen flow over account record detail page. So what we are going to use here, account ID equals. Now here is the thing, as you know that whenever we are going to place a flow on a record detail page, you need to create a variable in order to pass the particular record into flow. So that's why I am going to create a new resource which is of type variable, and API name is again record ID, data type as record, and we need to provide the object type, that is account, because we are going to place this flow over account record detail page. Now as you know that you need to tick this available for input in order to make this variable aware on the page. That what I mean by aware, so that the data of that page will came into the flow. So you need to click on available for input. So in simple terms, available for input means you are providing some data to your flow. So simply click on this available for input checkbox and click done. Now, so simply understand this record ID will hold the account. Now we need to provide account ID here. So if I click outside anywhere, it will show me a error. The data type of the resource you entered is not compatible. Now let's discuss about this error. It says data type of the resource you entered is not compatible, which is absolutely right, because record ID is account and we are comparing it with account ID. So that means we need to provide record ID here. So record ID basically is account. I am going to put a dot over there and type ID. So now it is correct. That means we are providing a ID inside a ID, or we are comparing two IDs, right? After that, you need to simply select all records because we want to show all the related contacts on the data table, right? And here you can select automatically store all fields. Let me click on done. Now after this, what we need to do is we need to simply use a screen, and on the screen we are going to display data table, which is a beta feature. Now let's provide a name, primary contact selection. Let's say related contact table. That would be much better name. Related contacts table. Now, okay, here you can see there is a error, right? So what you need to do here, you need to simply remove the space, or you can provide underscore instead of space, right? You need to provide a label to your data table, right? So let's say related contacts, and there is one more option as use label as the table title. So if you check this checkbox, related contacts will be displayed over the table. So let me just tick this checkbox just to show you how this label displayed over the table. Right after that, we have an accordion which is called configure data source, and that is and here we need to provide the record collection variable. So I am going to put our related contacts that we get from get record element, right? So simply select it, which is related contacts. Now after selecting this, you will see three options which called row selection mode. So in source collection, we provided, okay, these are the records which you need to show. Now, which is row selection mode. So under row selection mode, you have three options called multiple, single, and view only. So multiple means you can select multiple records over there. Single means you can select only a single record from the data table, and view only means you are not able to select any of the record because it is in read only mode, right? So in the multiple one, you can also see two options which is called minimum row selection and maximum row selection. Now what these two options mean? So let's say there are 4 records on the data table. So if you provided minimum row selection as 1, that means you need to select at least one record, otherwise your data table will throw an error, okay, the minimum record is not selected. There will be an error in terms of record selection, that the record is not selected and the minimum requirement is 1. And similarly for the maximum row selection means if there are 4 contacts and you provided maximum row selection as 3, so if you select 3 records over there, the other existing record are not selectable. That means those records are in the read only. You cannot select those records if you just cross the maximum row selection. So let's check it out in the debug mode. What I am going to do, I am going to provide us 1 as minimum row selection and 3 as maximum row selection, right? After that, you will see configure column. Now here we need to provide the columns that we are going to display on the data table. So make sure if you didn't provide any of the column, the data will not be displayed over the table because you need at least a column which show some data, right? So that's why you need to provide some columns here. So I am going to provide, let's say, name, select full name, click on done. Let's select email, click done. Let's select department, click done. Now what you need to do, you need to click on done. So here is an error because I didn't provide the screen name. So let's say select primary contact, right? Now if I click on the data table and open another another accordion apart from configure columns, right? Here you can see set component visibility. So set component visibility I explained in my previous videos. It simply means when you want to display the data table. This is a pretty much straightforward scenario, so we are not going to use set component visibility in this. There is an advanced section which you can see manually assign variable. So right, so this is the concept which I am going to teach you in part 2, where I am going to create some complex scenario with the help of data table, right? And that's where I am going to explain you this manually assign variable, right? So for now, what you need to do, you need to simply click on done. After that, you need to save your flow and let's say primary contact. Let's click on save and let's click on debug. So as you can see, debug flow will open this kind of interface, and here you need to provide account, because as you know, we created a variable in our flow which is record ID, and that is of type account, and we selected available for input. So we need to provide an input to our flow. So I am going to select account which is United Oil and Gas Corp, and let's click on run. Now after this, you will see 4 contacts are displayed over the table, label as related contact, as I told you, right? So if you don't want to display this related contact over there, you can simply deselect that checkbox that we selected, right? After that, you will see 4 contacts over there. So apart from 4 contacts, let's discuss the minimum and maximum row selections functionality. If I didn't select any of the row, so and click on the finish button, it will throw an error. Please select minimum 1 rows, because we provided 1 as the minimum criteria to select a particular row, right? Apart from that, if I let's say select any of the 3 rows, the 4th one automatically gets read only mode. That means you cannot select that more than 3 rows in a data table, right? Because we provided a limit over there. So let's say if I deselect this Arthur song, Avi Green, now you can make Avi Green as selectable and Arthur song is in deselect mode. So if you can see, this is the simple scenario for the minimum and maximum functionality of the data table, right? Now let's check out the view only configuration. So let me just move to my flow and open this screen again and click on the data table. Instead of multiple, what I am going to do, I am going to click on view only, and let's click done, save our flow and click debug. Again, I am going to provide an account, let's say United Oil and Gas Corp, click run. So here you can see there is no option to select a particular row because it is in view only. So this is the only difference which I want to show you, right? Apart from that, let's go to our flow again, and this time I am going to select row selection as single mode, and also I am going to uncheck this use label as the table title, right? And let's click on done. Let's save our flow again and click debug. So again, we need to provide a account which is United Oil and Gas Corp, click run. After that, let's say again, if I didn't select any of the record, it will not throw me any kind of error because there is no such criteria of minimum row selection and all, right? Let me just click on run again. So in single view, it is not mandatory to select a particular record, right? So let me just select one record over there and click on finish. That's how you can basically display data over data table. Now let me just cross it down and move back to my flow. Now after that, let's recall the scenario. Now what we need to do, we need to select a particular contact and update that contact primary field as true, right? That's why we can select a primary contact. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a update record element, and under update, let's say update primary contact. And now we need to specify condition to identify record and set field individually. I am going to update contact type of object. In the filter contact record, I need to provide ID of my record. Okay, this is the record which I want to update. So let's say ID equals. So here is the concept about data table, right? You can see under screen components, this is the related contacts screen component that we have, which is of data table. If you click on this, you will see first selected row automatically appear over there, right? So if I click again, you will see all the field of that selected contact. So I'm going to simply type ID over there. And yeah, that's it. That means related contacts is a component. Under that component, we have first selected row because we selected single view only, right? Like single row selection. That's why it is like first selected row. After that, when we move further in first selected row, we get all the fields of that selected contact. So that's why I am providing id equals related contact, then first selected row. After that, first selected row dot id, that means contact id in this case. Now we need to provide set field value for the contact record. That means the value we are going to update. So we are going to update a custom field which is primary. Select it and type here true and click done. Now what I am going to do, I am going to save my flow, right? And let's say if you want to provide any message at the end of your update, let's say the record is updated, now you want to display some message. How you can do that? You need to simply use another screen over there, and let's say type display text, drag and drop display text over there, let's say message. And in the insert a resource, what you need to do is you need to simply type the message you want to type. So I'm going to type, let's say, the contact named. Now if you want to provide some dynamic variables, how you can provide in this case, again I'm going to into related contacts, first selected row, then we have first name. Similarly for last name, yeah. So basically this is the one, like the contact name, first name, last name has been set as the primary contact to this account, right? So this is the message which I want to display. Let's make it bold. And now I'm going to click on done. Okay, we need to provide the screen name. So let's say message. Click done. Click save. Right now what I am going to do, I am going to activate my flow. So now we need to add this screen flow over account record detail page. So let's move to account and open any of the account records. So let's say United Oil and Gas Corp. Here you need to click on edit page, and in the left hand side simply search for flow. Now drag and drop flow over there, and here we need to select R flow, which is primary contact. Now here is one more thing which is very important. You need to click on this checkbox. By clicking on this checkbox, you make sure that we are passing the data from account record detail page to the flow. So this is kind of very important. Otherwise there is no data, and what you are going to show on that flow, right? So simply click on save. Now let's move back to the screen, and here you can see this is the flow that we have. As we deselect our label, right? So you are not able to see that label which is related contacts, right? So now what's our scenario is, we are going to select one of the contact over there, right? That contact will be turned as primary contact for this account, because we are going to change that particular field over contact, right, which is primary. So I am going to select Stella, and before doing this, let me just show you what is the value of Stella, right? So let's move to Stella and move to details. Here you can see primary is unchecked for now. Let's move back again, and right now I am going to select Stella over there, and after that I am going to click on next. So it says the contact name Stella has been set as the primary contact to this account, right? So simply I need to click on finish, so that it will again show us the whole table. Now let's move to the Stella record and see whether the value is updated or not. So here you can see the primary value is now checked, and that means this is the primary contact for this account. So this is a scenario which I just created just to explain you about data table, right? It might be used in some of the business processes or not, but this is just my scenario, right? I build it like that just to explain you about the data table. You can use on your own ideas, like how you can use data table for your own scenarios. There will be many scenarios where you just want to display records on a data table, right? So make sure you try this newly feature which is called data table in Salesforce Screen Flows, right? Now that's it for the part 1. In the part 2 we are going to create a advanced flow where we are going to use manually assigned variable feature in the data table, right? And I am going to explain you how you can work with the multiple selected records, right? Like where you can select more than one record over there. So in the part 2 we are going to cover that. For now, that's it. Thank you so much if you're watching this video till now, and make sure to like and subscribe this channel as well. Thank you so much.